So these folks would swallow a temperature sensor as it traverses their GI tract. It's in there for about 72 hours. They have to wear a little belt pack receiver, and about every 15 seconds, this sensor is measuring internal body temperature and basically beaming out temperature to the receiver. So we would have, almost 72 hours of continuous temperature monitoring, and we could timestamp when they would receive their exposure. And then we could tell before and after whether or not they had any temperature
It's
rise.
pretty cool. So, but there's no measurable rise in temperature, even though your muscles are contracting.
Not from a taser exposure. We saw temperature rises predictably when they would go work out at the gym and involved in other activities, but not from a taser.
We don't want to know what the other activities are, Rick.
All right. So one of the early critiques was about extended durations. And how did that come to be a critique? If I recall correctly, it's because we only did a limited number. Well, I'll have you describe.
Yeah, so I think early on, a standard trigger pull on a taser is 5 seconds in the law enforcement world. So that was what we started our measurements with, was just a 5-second duration. Out of that, again, we were criticized that we only measured 5 seconds. And so since the trigger could be repulled and a longer than 5-second exposure could occur, we decided that we would, if there were training exposures that were longer than 5 seconds, we would do that. The company at the time went out to 10 and 15 and even longer on occasion during their training exposures, and we would measure all of those. But in general, we had the most numbers of 15-second exposures, which we could write data upon. And that's how 15 seconds got into the literature early on. I mean, this was probably a decade and a half ago now.